Hello everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day, good weekend. Next installment of the Daily Peps. Sorry it's not been one for a while, there's been a bit of recording done, the videos will be coming out soon. There's just a bit of a mix up in the order in which they're coming out. So today I just want a little bit of a chat about individualism, how it benefits, who it benefits people to feel like an individual, and who it doesn't benefit really. And I'll give you some examples and we'll just talk about what we can do to combat that. So what I'm going to start talking about, I've got no papers or any kind of reference material apart from a little extract from a book, which I'll read out in a minute. We've got no sense of community anymore. You can sort of think about community. Do you know who lives over the road from you? Do you know who runs your local shop? Do you know what I mean? Do you know anyone in your community anymore? You go back sort of 10, 20, 30 years, everyone knew everyone, you know what I mean? There was a nice close-knit sense of community and togetherness, and now there isn't that sort of sense of community anymore. There isn't. People don't feel like they can make a change anymore because they're on their own. They feel like, oh, it's just sort of us. There's people around me, but we don't really, you don't really know them people. You don't feel, this is the common saying, you're stronger together. Of course you are. You're stronger as one when people come together to be one. And at the moment, everyone's just living their own lives and dealing with their problems themselves, not dealing with the causes of the problems instead. So, sort of, how did we become individuals then? You can trace this back to sort of like even like the media, for example. You look at a paper when it's talking about immigrants or immigration or asylum seekers or anything like that. You'll always read it like, oh, immigrants coming for your jobs, and you're like, that's me. They're coming for my jobs. Ah, oh, no, immigrants. Ah, oh, no, these people, those people, Polish people coming for my jobs. People from Middle East are coming for my jobs. People from Eastern Europe are coming for my jobs. Everyone's coming for your jobs. Protect your jobs, protect your finance, your assets. You're this, you're that. It's never it's never us. It's you and it's your, and it sort of instills and it's sort of negative sort of feeling inside of us that we don't want to associate with these people. We want to keep ourselves to ourselves. Me and my family, and that preys on our. I think that preys on our sort of innate sense of sort of survivability. You need to look after yourself and your family. If there's not enough food for the winter, for instance, going back a couple of thousand years, if there wasn't enough food for the winter, you needed food for you and your family for the winter. So there was a sort of a need to be an individual back then, and then it grew into sort of community. Like agriculture, you'd farm as a community together and have enough food for the winter. You wouldn't go hunting for you and your family. And times have changed, and now we're slowly dripping back into that. You need to look after yourself and your family for the winter. There's no help. We're better together, and it suits the people in power. For instance, I'll just read you an extract now from Russell Brand's new book, Revolution. It just says here, if someone said they had a socio-economic system that creates a hugely wealthy elite at the cost of everyone else, but it was ecologically sound, we'd tell them to F off. What we've got is one that is systematically inflating the wealth of the elite, rapidly suffocating everybody else, and it's destroying the planet that we all live on. I know there's a government that is creating a bigger divide between your average Joe and the wealthy elite. The rich get richer. Everyone's heard the saying, and it's not just come out of the blue. That's there for a reason. The rich are getting richer. The poor are getting poorer. The divide is getting bigger. There is no sort of lower, sort of upper middle class, lower middle class, upper. There's lower and there's super rich elite, and that is it. The divide is getting bigger, and sort of who benefits from that? Who benefits from this divide? Well, the people in power benefit from the divide. If I was on the other side of it, if I was one of the rich elite who had loads of dosh, and I was getting richer and richer, and the government were helping me by giving me sort of tax breaks, not imposing any sort of higher taxes on me because I'm swindling everyone out of loads of cash because I'm not a payday loan, because I'm a payday loan company, you know what I mean? And I'm having everyone for a load of cash, jumping on the sort of the state of the country now financially, going, oh, everyone needs a bit of cash, why don't we lend a bit of cash and we'll just rake in a load of interest. And the government's like, oh, well, okay, we'll do a little bit of sanction on you, but if I was on that side of it, I'd be rubbing my hands together with glee. Because everyone on the other side is just saying, oh, well, what can you do? What can we do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing as an individual. And that's how they like to keep it. That's why it's pressed and forced that you're an individual. Nigel Farage preys on sort of, he, to be fair, it is a little bit weird actually. He sort of brings together a community, but on the wrong side of it. He rallies people to sort of hate everyone else and try and instill nationality again and that kind of thing. And that's, it might help one or two people who love being nationalists, but it ain't going to help everyone else in the country who just wants to sort of get along with everyone and have a better life for everyone else around us and ourselves. If he used what he does for the good, you know what I mean? If he was rallying people to come together and fight for a fairer system, that'd be absolutely class. But he's not. He's using it for hatred. So, what can we do to sort of combat this obvious divide that is just getting bigger and bigger? Well, the system, the political system we have at the moment, that isn't going to change anything. You think of the Conservatives, you think of Labour, you think of the Lib Dems, the three main parties, and now arguably UKIP and a little bit more to the, obviously to a lesser degree, the Green Party and stuff like that, and all the others. They're not different enough. They don't offer enough of a change for me to be interested in. They're so disillusioned with it all now. It's like, well, that bedroom tax, if you vote us in, we won't have a bedroom tax. Oh, sweet, nice one. That's going to change my life radically. Of course, it isn't going to change your life, but it's going to buy them votes, and they're just that's all they're after. They want to make you promises that you are going to lap up like little dogs and vote for them for another 4 years. Just don't bother. What's the point? It doesn't matter if the Conservatives get in, if Labour get in, or Lib Dems get in. Absolutely no difference. There is not enough change. I don't personally vote. And because there isn't enough change, that people aren't different enough. You're never going to see David Cameron stood up there rallying people to fight for the poor and to try and equal out some of the wealth across the country and across the world. David Cameron's never going to stand up and go, you know what, I am on the side of the poor. Let's bring down these massive financial powerhouses. He's never going to do that, is he? Because he's mates with them all. Their funding is election campaign and stuff like that. He ain't going to try and bring them down to get some wealth to you and me. Ed Miliband's not going to do that either. And that geezer who runs the bloody Lib Dems, he's never going to do it. What you think Nigel Farage is going to bring down big corporation and give you some of that money and come up with a fairer system for it? Of course it's not. So it's in this tiny little circle of politics in which they all coincide. If someone came onto the scene and said, listen, vote for me, I'm going to completely change how politics works, I'm going to make a fairer system, I'm going to heavy tax on corporations that are exploiting the resources that we have in our country and on the planet, and we're going to completely change it round. We're going to even out the wealth across the country a bit more. Yeah, we're never going to get it perfect. The Russians tried it, they got it completely wrong. We ain't going to go down that route, but there's got to be a better way than this horrific divide in the system, you know what I mean? So that's how we change it. We're going to change up politics, and if someone ain't prepared to change it up enough, don't bother with it. Tell them to F off. Waste of time. Absolute waste of time. One tiny step in the right direction is they're trying to devolve a lot more power down to a city level. That's getting there. That's tiny baby steps towards it. I think they're doing it in Manchester. They're giving a lot more power over spending in Manchester to the people of Manchester. Still ran by somebody who, there's got to be a bod who looks after the money, but all right. As long as he holds the money and doesn't have any kind of sway in where it goes, and everyone gets to have a decision in where it goes, that's fine. As long as he don't get a say, that's perfectly fine. As long as he ain't got his hand in the pot, perfectly fine. That's another thing you need to do. Take the money out of politics as well. It drives everyone loco. So the devolution of power to cities and communities, that seems like a fairer thing to do. Why do I, living up in the north of the country, want somebody sat down in London who's got 3 houses around the UK, who people are paying for, not them, they won't pay for them, and they're on 70, 80 plus grand. I don't want them making decisions about what happens with schools up near me, or what happens to whether the roads get repaired or stuff like that, or where we get our money from. Give us the money. We'll decide as a community where that money goes. Surely the best people to decide on the money is us. It has to be us. We have to be the best people to make choices for our town. You know, if a load of rich, if we had a nice little system that worked, and everyone had a say, and everyone was valued, and everyone's opinion was valued, and everyone was educated to a good level, and someone come up saying, "Oh, me and my rich mates, do you want us to make all your decisions for you and make a lot more money out of it while you guys get poorer?" Oh, yes, please. Are you going to keep the environment how it is? No, we're going to destroy it. Oh, yeah, have all the money, make all the decisions for us. You know what I mean? Of course we will. F off, mate. And that's exactly what's happened. And people are like, oh, well, what can you do now? We need to come together. We need to expect more from the people who represent us. And we need devolution of power down to community level so we can start making decisions for ourselves. Thank you very much for watching. Just a little debate / rant and some thoughts. Hopefully you take them away and have a little think about them yourselves. I ain't saying, buddy, let's get a pitchfork and torch and go and burn down Parliament. Of course not. But if we can sort of come together to sort of start making these decisions and start making ourselves heard, then we can devolve this power. We can start having more of a say in how we run our communities for the benefit of ourselves and others around us. Thank you very much for watching. Please share, subscribe, like, spread the message around. If you didn't like it, you're well entitled to not like it, of course. Don't watch another one if you don't want to. If you do, keep an eye out. There's going to be some more videos coming soon. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Like I said, got a Twitter at The Daily Peps, YouTube The Daily Peps. Got a WordPress video blog. It is thedailypeps.wordpress.co.uk. And please just share on Facebook, like it, tell your friends if you enjoyed it, and leave any comments below. Any feedback, anything you liked, anything you didn't like. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day and evening.